Light the bat signal.
Because tonight we're shining a spotlight on the latest addition to the MCU with Captain America Brave New World.
So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And let's get to it. What up, Gotham Guardians and Arkham Adversaries? It's your boy Trey and his Wonder Wife Sara. We coming in hot to give a spoiler-free review of the new MCU film, Captain America Brave New World. This was our first time seeing Sam Wilson kind of take the lead of the film and now fully claiming his role as Captain America. And I gotta say, I thought it was a solid MCU film. Not my favorite though.
It's not my favorite, but I did enjoy the movie.
I agree. It does tie up some loose ends that have been left over from early MCU films. I won't say what because I think that would give it a bit away. But if you are fully aware of very early MCU films and some hints of future villains that were coming along the way, they finally bring it to full fruition. So.
Don't understand.
I do. I understood that reference.
That was nice. I appreciated that aspect of it. However, I've heard a lot of rumors that this movie has suffered from multiple reshoots and repurposing due to many different issues throughout where the MCU is planning on going with Phase 6. I could feel this film really suffered from that. It kind of felt like a Frankenstein monster.
It did struggle a little bit. I feel like the transitions were not very good throughout the movie, and it felt like it didn't take until the third act for it to really find its pacing.
I agree with that. It lost its focus. It didn't really know where the story was going or who was the problem. It was just kind of all over the place. It was clearly trying to keep tonally the feelings that you got from Captain America Winter Soldier, which I think is one of the best MCU films of all time. And I love that kind of darker, serious tone that they especially played in with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It just fell flat a lot of the times with this movie. It just kind of was weird pacing all around.
Yeah, and it's in those scenes where you think is going to be serious, and then it just kind of trickles out. They throw in the humor there for okay, what do we do now?
And for humor-wise, which is always being a DC fan, I tend to have a lot of issues with that with a Marvel film, where I feel like humor is not well timed or well placed into these movies.
Comedy.
This one did a better job of that.
I would agree.
There is a post-credit scene. It's an MCU film, so make sure you stick around. However, I will say the post-credit scene was so generic.
I'm not really sure where they're going with that.
Yeah, there's no clear direction of well, that could mean anything from it. So I know a lot of people probably speculate from it, but if you have to go to the bathroom after the post-credits, you're not going to really miss anything. Now, in terms of the characters and the performance, seeing Anthony Mackie finally take up the mantle from Chris Evans with Steve Rogers as Captain America with his Sam Wilson, I think he does a great job of kind of recognizing that he is no Steve Rogers. He isn't that, Boy Scout that we saw from the first Avenger film, but he doesn't shy away from that fact and kind of breaks the fourth wall in a way that understands that some people may have an issue with his Captain America, but he owns it really well and handles that responsibility great. And I do think he does a great job performance-wise in this film.
I would agree, absolutely. I mean, he steps into this role as the leading character in this movie flawlessly.
It was a bit of a co-lead because really a huge focus in this movie is Harrison Ford's character, President Ross, who is taking over from William Hurt, who tragically passed away. So, Harrison Ford takes it on, and he's freaking awesome in it.
I mean, it's Harrison Ford.
Yeah. He plays a morally gray character that just adds a lot of complexities and layers to it, especially with everything that you know about this character from the early MCU films, from The Incredible Hulk to the Civil War movie with Captain America. And it's very important to know some of that history with his character that leads him up to this moment that goes crazy as we obviously see him turn into the Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, by the way.
CGI was amazing.
Yeah, I dug it so much. But he, in a lot of ways, Harrison Ford kind of steals the show a little bit with just how good his performance is as Thaddeus Ross. But one character that's just kind of felt out of place and really no purpose of being there, especially a big of an actor that he is. Moff Gideon. I'm just kidding. Giancarlo Esposito. It does feel like when he shows up, though, he kind of plays into that villain side that he got.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, they push so hard for him in the trailers, but I feel like his character is underutilized in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, really, I didn't see the purpose of him. Maybe they're trying to set something up in the future with Sidewinder, but for how they utilize him, it's kind of like, okay, what problem is he really gonna possess for a future film? It just doesn't make much sense to me, but maybe I'm wrong on that. We'll see where it goes. I'm not sure, though. One character that I absolutely loved from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series on Disney Plus was the Isaiah Bradley character, the forgotten Captain America.
Right.
Bringing him into this story definitely adds that level of tragedy, but kind of weight to it. Just, everything that his character has gone through. And I think Carl Lumbly just does such an amazing job, and it really adds that pressure for Sam Wilson's character to go on this journey, this obviously this hero's journey to try to help his friend out who already has a pretty troubled past in the first place. So I really
the Carl Lumbly character, definitely Isaiah Bradley, helps Sam make his own name as Captain America.
I agree. It definitely shows you those different sides of the coin of that character, especially with the cultural impact that it is to have Sam Wilson as Captain America, which is pretty cool. Some issues I do have, and I know this is gonna be silly. Some people are like, really? Like, who pays attention to this?
I know most of you are saying, hey, any idiot could do that. Well, it was tough for me, so back off!
MCU films tend to fail anyways on music for me. I mean, there's a couple that do great jobs, like, the Alan Silvestri Avengers theme, fantastic. What Henry Jackman has done with some of the Captain America movies before. This particular film fell so flat, like to the point where the music really seemed so misplaced.
It was very lackluster,
But also didn't fit the scene. There was times where it felt like super, like something grand and sinister was happening, and it was just them driving in a car.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
It did, didn't it?
I felt like the music could have given some of these scenes more impact than they had.
It just, like, the feeling wise, what music does to lift a scene, it didn't match what was trying to be conveyed through the stories. If I'm noticing it that much, I was like, something's wrong here. So music didn't quite work for me. And there's also, while there's some incredible CGI, like the Red Hulk, holy cow, the Red Hulk looks awesome. The crazy fight sequence that they have is just beautiful, perfect. There's moments though where you see like real green screen depth problems, and where it's kind of even fuzzy, two characters talking to each other, that you kind of just go like, whoa, what happened between that scene and that scene, to where it was noticeable in areas where you see great CGI with the Red Hulk, and then you see other scenes where you're kind of like, something didn't work there.
Right, like we're looking for that amazing consistency in the CGI that we see in superhero films today, and it was just all over the place in this movie.
The only part where I could figure is just, once again, maybe the reshoots and having the animations have to come through quickly, and the changes that they must have done may have affected this film in a way that wasn't so good.
Right.
But overall, I still feel, in terms of MCU films, it's one of the more solid movies, just not great and not bad. Okay,
it was okay.
It's good. It's good. If you had to score it, Wonder Wife, what would you give it?
I'd probably give it a 7.6.
You and I are like so on it this year that I don't even know what's happening. I was going to give it a 7.5. It's not my favorite movie so far this year, but it's solid. It's not bad.
I'd go back.
Yeah, I would go back to watch it as well. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought of Captain America Brave New World. What were some of the Easter eggs that you guys noticed? There were some really cool details that I was able to pick on. Just even some of the songs that they played to kind of introduce a villain that is in this. I thought was like, I was able to catch on like, I know what you're doing there. And I just think there's some cool things in this film that we'll have to see where they're going with it, especially as we get ready for Thunderbolts, Asterisk, because I don't know how that's going to work. Because Bolt Ross is in this, and that's clearly not his team, so I don't
Which
know.
I'm sure will be explained.
I hope so, because that one still makes me scratch my head a little bit, even being a DC fan, not knowing what's going on. So, I don't know. Thank you guys so much for watching. It helps us out so much when you smash a like, you share it, too. Subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. I am your host, Trey, with his Wonder Wife Sara, and don't forget to tune in weekly.
Same bat time.
Same bat channel.